my last few years of athletics, and so my first few years of university have been probably my best. I've had definitely my best achievements, and I'm sure that the university's had a pretty big part to play in that.
Yeah, and so one of the key areas of King's Sport is the physio and the personal training one-to-one. How has that affected your training?
Yeah, so I came straight from school where I did my training with an athletics club, and then in terms of strength and conditioning, I knew that it was something that I should be incorporating into my training, but it wasn't something that I had a coach overseeing. And so it was a case of going down to the gym, trying to make up the sorts of things that I should be doing, and obviously that was difficult to do. It's difficult to motivate yourself when it's completely self-driven, and so coming to King's and being thrown into the performance gym with one-on-one coaching with a top
exactly,
top
and it's not just
guy.
it's not only the coach, but you've also got other performance athletes around you.
Exactly.
And it's also, not just your discipline, it's other events, and
Yeah.
I guess in a way that makes things a bit more relaxed and more fun, and you get to be around people who are really interested in their sport.
Yeah, exactly. And you can learn so much from other athletes in different sports, and it was good fun it is good fun to be able to do parts of our training together, and not just get different opinions on things, and it's nice to hang out with people who aren't runners.
Yeah. And so when you left secondary school, did you think that you would go on to compete for Great Britain at a junior level or senior level?
Not at all, no. I came to King's for academic purposes. I knew that my running was going to take a sideline, and I was okay with that, and I was prepared for academia to take priority completely, and not really worry so much about my running. And having the performance sport at King's and being involved with that has absolutely just sort of changed how I thought it was going to be at university. And so I'm much more motivated than I thought it was going to be. There's a huge sports department in King's that I wasn't expecting to have, and so there are loads of other athletes. There's a big running team, and it's great to be a part of, and really great for motivation to keep up my training, as well as the performance side, which is obviously
exactly. And as much as you are involved in the performance side, you're actually very involved with the club itself and the more junior levels, and I think everyone at the club is very happy that you take that involvement very seriously. And you coming to Luca and doing events that you would never normally do is really, I think, very inspirational to everyone.
Well, I mean, athletics isn't about egos or people taking things too seriously, I don't think. I really feel that the majority of people do it because it's great fun and because their friends do it, so it's great because the uni sport environment is just as much about the social side as it is about the competitive side, and so it's really nice to get involved with that as well.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's why everyone, this season we've been doing particularly well across the board. Lots of PBs, and we're all really excited as the club is getting bigger and bigger. We're now over 100 members. A couple of years ago we were around 50, so it's really kicking off, and I think you exemplify that aspect of the.
I feel quite lucky to have been here for the entire time that the club has made this huge progression. To have been able to see it firsthand has been really cool, and I'm lucky to be on a 5-year course, and so I get to be here to see it really blossom.
Yeah.
And so that's really nice too.
How have you found a degree at one of the best universities in the UK alongside your athletics? Have you found it challenging?
I mean, it took quite a lot of getting used to, and I mean it's still there's always some stress related to it. It definitely gets a lot worse when you get towards exam time, but day to day, I think that once you've found the right routines that work for you, and when you can fit your training in, and fit your work in, once you've found that balance, then it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's great to have the release as well, and the distraction that you can just go off and being with other people for training is really important with that, because then you don't just get left pondering your own thoughts. You can just chat to them and forget all about the stresses of uni.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say that it's easy, but at the same time, it's I can't imagine not doing it either.
Yeah, and despite that, you've still managed to achieve highly. And what did you think when you got into the uni GB team, and then how was that progression from there to then the senior GB team for mountain running?
So last year I was in my second year of uni. So I'd had a year of the performance sport involvement beforehand, but the qualification for World University Cross Country Championships only happens every other year, and so I had a great race in Bucks Cross Country and managed to qualify for it, and I think definitely having doing all the extra work in the gym, sort of ideally 2 sessions a week. It's quite often one, due to other things. But putting that time in the gym consistently over the winter season, I think definitely gave me the strength to stay injury free. Gave me the strength in tough cross countries to hold my form throughout the race, and just stay strong from the start of the season to the finish, which I often hadn't done when I was younger. So making that university GB team was a really big moment for me. And then later on in the year, so last summer, I had my first year as a senior for mountain running, and managed to get selection for GB for the World Champs. This was only a few months after I'd done the World Uni Cross Country, and so I think that having already qualified for GB, I definitely had the confidence to really put myself up there in the race and really believe in myself and think that I could make the team. And then obviously in terms of training, the King Sport had really helped in that with gym training, I'm not massively driven to do it on my own, and so it's good to have a coach to get me down there week in, week out. And I definitely benefited from just the consistency of doing it every week, going into the gym, and going through the motions, strengthening myself up, especially in the mountain running where there's a lot of power involved. They're long races once you get up to the senior level, and so I really had to be strong and have the endurance to compete against all the guys. And so I owe a lot of it to that strength training with Ed Young.
Fantastic. Thank you for speaking with us, Max. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Not at all.
Just one final question. What are you hoping for the season ahead? And maybe not the season ahead, but in the future? Yeah.
So, I mean, the mountain season is just around the corner, and so I'm hoping to get fit and give it all I've got this year. So I managed to make the senior team last year in my first year as a senior, the goal will still be just to make that team. Things have shifted around slightly in the way that they select the teams this year, and so they only take 4 athletes for the senior men, and last year I managed to get into the team when it was selecting 6, And so it's got slightly harder this year, and so I think that it's right to just have the same goal of getting into the team, and then once I get to the World or European Championships, then just enjoying myself and doing the best I can. And then maybe in a few years to come, I'll start to think about coming top 10 in the world, top 10 in Europe. Yeah, we shall see.
Yes, we shall see. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you.